Hello and welcome to this Storyboard special. I'm Shibani Gharat. Joining me today from New York, we have Devika Bulchandani, Global CEO Ogilvy. She was appointed as the Global CEO of the advertising giant Ogilvy this month and also joins a growing group of Indian origin business leaders at the helm of big international, multinational corporations. Devika most recently served as the global president and CEO of Ogilvy North America and takes charge of the agency from Andy Main, who is stepping down as the global CEO. She has always been passionate about the power of creativity and making a positive impact on the society is what her peers say about her. She was the driving force behind MasterCard's long-running Priceless campaign and also the fearless girl that challenged Wall Street's symbol of the charging bull with a bronze statue of a young girl, which became a symbol for gender diversity and equality. Joining us today is this fearless girl. Devika, welcome to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you so much, Shibani. I'm so glad to be here.
Devika, you have joined the elite club of the Indian origin global CEOs, and not just that, one of the few women CEOs in the industry. How does that feel?
It obviously feels very good, but it also is a big responsibility, right? So there's a personal feeling, and then there's also the feeling of those that are looking at you. And I have a really nice story from the other day. I was walking in the hallway here at Ogilvy in New York, and a young girl walked up to me and she said, "You're Devika, right?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I just want to tell you on behalf of all of us Desi girls, this means so much to me. Um, and it just looking at you gives me so much hope." And that moment for me was just such a powerful moment. And then another woman walked in. She's from Delhi, and she said, "Devika, I just want to tell you, my parents are talking about you, and they're calling me and saying, 'Oh my God, there's a Indian woman CEO, and that means so much.'" And when I thought about just both those things, it made me realize how powerful it is to see somebody like you in positions and how much hope it gives people. So yes, it feels very good on a personal level, but it also feels really good when I think about the responsibility of it and what it says to other Indian women, other women of color, other people who don't look like a majority in any community.
Yeah, and as you said, it gives hope that, something like this is, possible, is attainable. Devika, also, I was going through a couple of your interviews, and in one of them, you said that you are the fearless girl, which has also been one of your unique campaigns. The Statue of the Fearless Girl, as we know, sends a message about workplace gender diversity and equality. You are Amritsar born, schooled, at Welham in Dehradun and graduated from St. Xavier's in Mumbai. So share with us your journey so far in advertising and what, according to you, were the key milestones in this journey, Devika?
When I started in advertising, I was one of the few Indian people, and actually I would say few non-white American or English or Australian people. This whole industry is really sort of dominated by those three cultures. And if you think about what we do in advertising, we create culture. We tell stories about what's happening in the world and how people want to evolve their lives and what it is that they need. And when I came here, in my first few meetings, I was like, I don't know anything about American culture. I didn't know what an Oreo cookie was. I was in a meeting about Oreos, and I was like, what is an Oreo? And then you hear famous things like Coke's Hilltop ad, and you hear about Tiger in the Tank. These are real sort of iconic um, advertising slogans. And I was like, I don't know any of that. I don't know what it means. I don't understand it. I didn't feel it. So it took me a really long time to actually feel like I belonged. And the only time I felt I belonged is when I started accepting American culture as my own. And I have to say, as Indians, we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. When we come here, we always think, Indian culture, we're very proud, we know better. But it took a little humility for me to say, I need to actually step out of my, all the things that I've been programmed to do and actually learn and have an open mind. And that was a very pivotal moment in my career when I acknowledged to myself that I needed to learn. and that I needed to be open to another culture because I wasn't initially. I would say the first 7 years, I was very guarded. So that was one pivotal moment. And after that, obviously, I've had many different sort of moments. But the other pivotal moment I'd say is I was trained as a strategist. And then in one meeting, my CEO at McCann, he called me after a meeting and said, "What do you want to do in your life?" And I was like, "What do I want to do in my life?" I didn't understand. I was like, "Is this an existential question?" And I said, "I don't understand what you're asking." Finally, after having this really awkward meeting. And he said, "What I'm saying to you is you need to run something." So that transition from being a strategist, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly and I carry it with me all throughout, to actually running something, running a P&L, being responsible, was a very, very important and pivotal moment. And one that I cannot thank Harris enough for, and two that I have absolutely enjoyed, because I think when you have the true responsibility and accountability for a business is when you can make true change and impact.
Wow, that's a great thought. And, also you mentioned how, there were two pivotal things that you learned. One is about a completely new and a different culture. And the fact that, you were told that you can run something. And these are the two learnings that will play a big role when you take on the role as a global CEO with such diverse markets and cultures that, you have to look after, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, I have to now go and learn about 80 other cultures, right? And that sort of learning early on to say you need to have an open mind and not impose your culture, but not impose your pre-existing sort of perceptions, but actually have an open mind was really, really sort of pivotal. By the way, also for us women, like I say, growing up in India, it's preordained what you're going to do. And I talk about this a lot. It was preordained. I was going to have an arranged marriage and I was going to possibly become a housewife in a business family. And I didn't want that preordained destiny for myself. And I think it's the same thing as a leader to say, don't assume that people want a preordained destiny. How do you have an open mind, not just to learn about cultures, but to learn about people you lead, to figure out how you lead people where they can be themselves and not become a version of me or a version of some other leader. Because I didn't want that. And I don't think that's the modern version of leadership.
That's a great thought. Also, Devika, another important thing to note that you are, a career ad woman in this era when this industry is losing talent to other sectors and industries. What made you stick to this profession, this industry, for such a long time?
I want to say I love our industry. With a very, very sort of deep passion. And God bless all those people who want to go to tech, and more power to them. But we have something in this industry that no other industry has. One is creativity. And two is client relationships and platforms that span every category. So when I talk about, using the power of creativity to not just move business forward, but actually be able to move the world forward, I just go, I'm the luckiest person in the world. Because we have thousands of clients today at Ogilvy, from clients like Dove that are changing the world, and the recent work that just ran in India for Stop the Beauty Test, from the work that we're doing for Cadbury in India. You think about those things. We're actually changing the future of small business. Hopefully, we're going to change the way young girls look at themselves and look at themselves in the mirror. So I love what we do. And I tell every single person that if you want scalable impact, and everybody has a different mission in life. So that's why I say more power to everyone, right? If you want scalable impact and you have some sense of the power or passion for creativity, there's no better industry.
Great.
And by the way, we get to use tech, we get to use data, we get to use all the tools, all the modern marketing tools.
Absolutely. And you get to work across diverse industries and, get insights from each one of them. So I'm sure no 2 days are the same for you guys.
I always say, Shivani, I'm a very good cocktail party guest because I can talk about any industry. But if you sit me next to one single industry for dinner, then it gets a little complicated.
On that note, it is time for a short break. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back with this conversation.